dialysis for renal replacement therapy makes this a very scary thought to where we're going to be 5 years or 10 years from now. We're going to have to not treat other patients or simply let patients die earlier because we don't have the money to take care of these patients. So that's why KidneyX. But we've developed principles for what we want to do. First of all, as I started in the beginning, patients are at the forefront. Everything must be patient-centered, and we need to create this sense of urgency. We are going to be developing an innovation fund to help support research and development based on scientifically driven technologies that we believe are achievable, and we want to utilize the resources of the federal government. Hey, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, right? But we really want to do this to help catalyze momentum in the kidney space, as it's so well needed. So we want to create a public-private, non-diluted funding mechanism to help develop newer alternatives to renal replacement therapy, and to encourage a much better and newfound coordination between the agencies of Health and Human Services, the FDA, CMS, and NIH, to work together and to really try and energize this field. At the American Society of Nephrology meeting last November in New Orleans, Bruce Greenstein, the Chief Technology Officer of HHS, made the announcement of this opportunity, where we're going, and we're trying to put it all together to open up Kidney Alpha this summer, and hopefully we'll have an announcement in Seattle in August at the nephrology meetings there. And we're looking for all sorts of innovative approaches. First and foremost is what we are describing as next generation kidney replacement, whether they are advances on current dialysis or altogether totally new ideas. We don't know where they'll come from, but we also want to extend funding for medications, other devices, diagnostics, and patient-centered tools, with the notion of really translating the realm of promising ideas directly to the patients, with non-dilutive funding and government agencies working together to reduce the barriers to innovation, to get the products to the market and to patients. And as part of this effort, FDA has joined with the American Society of Nephrology to form the Kidney Health Initiative, which was developed in 2012. Melissa West is here as a representative of Kidney Health Initiative, if you'd like to talk to her. And it's been a very, very invigorating cooperative partnership, bringing in essentially all of the stakeholders in this area to work together to make these same sort of changes that we've been describing. Don't bother reading the objectives of KHI, because I just want you to focus on number 7, that we're really trying to seek input from all stakeholders in this area with public and private activities. Public being the FDA, and now NIH and CMS, and public being private being the investors and everybody else in this room, and to really create an open, transformative platform on which we can make a real difference in the lives of patients with kidney disease. We now have at KHI over 80 partners, as you can see here. And there is a roadmap that we're developing between FDA and ASN, and that's kind of leads us to why we're here at the road mapping effort. And we have certain goals, and we've made some progress. The first goal was to convene the stakeholders together to get a good understanding and develop scientific, technical, and regulatory challenges. What are we going to face? How are we going to solve these problems? And then set a group of criteria for future alternatives to renal replacement therapy. And most importantly, this probably should be first, to identify ways to incorporate patient preferences for their feedback. And lastly, to create this roadmap with milestones and opportunities to create either a bioartificial or a bioengineered or some other mechanism to provide an alternative to dialysis as renal replacement therapy for end-stage renal disease. So what's our timeline? We submitted this to the White House Organ Summit in June of 2016 with a commitment that by July we would start a project aimed at developing a roadmap that will describe the challenges and milestones needed to successfully create an alternative to dialysis. In November, we held our first advisory meeting and set up a workshop in the spring of last year. And at this workshop, it was attended by more than 100 individuals with more than 10 patients. Together, we talked about the alternatives, and a white paper is coming out. We've identified a patient advisory committee that works with us every single day so that patients are well integrated into what we're doing. Working groups were established for creating the mechanical, cellular aspects, hybrid systems, vascular access issues, and we anticipate a draft of this roadmap to be completed by spring of this year. And that roadmap is essentially a straw man that we want to put out. We don't want to have a completed roadmap made by KHI or FDA or ASN. We want this to be a community approach, and we're going to be asking for your help in this. And we're looking at all the alternatives of implantables or wearables, from incremental dialysis improvements to mechanical devices, chimeras, xenotransplantation, et cetera. And we will be putting out this straw man roadmap to all of our stakeholders, everybody in this room and everybody participating in this meeting, and New Organ Alliance will have an opportunity to weigh in and help us on this. We have a lot of folks who have been working on this, both through the HHS and Kidney X as well as through KHI. And it's really, really important for you to become involved and to spread the word, let everybody know what it is that we're doing. Participate when you get this roadmap to send in your thoughts and ideas. And it's really, really important that we work together to make a difference for these patients. When you get the slides, we just thought we'd put the emails to get back in touch with us. Thank you really for this opportunity to express what it is we're trying to do to help. Thanks.